Let me just say this though. Like, no, I'm not into being a cat femboy. Look, guys, I'm into exploring heterosexual sexuality with my wife. Like that's it. Like that's my kink and my fetish. It's a big secret. But that entails a lot of crazy adventurous stuff. And that's fine. Like things don't have to be vanilla, I guess is the word. They don't have to be boring. They don't have to be repetitive. There's a bunch of stuff you can do to keep a normal, monogamous, healthy sexual relationship with your partner. And this is why, like, people have made, like, some people have bitched about me talking about sex and stuff, but let me tell you why though. Let me tell you why. I've been talking about it more because I've encountered fucking fly. Motherfucker, go away. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Um, I've encountered a bunch of people who get trapped in their relationship. They have either no sexual desire for their spouse doesn't have sexual desire for them. They've drifted apart. They live together as roommates. And look, guys, I've alluded to this, but 18 years of marriage, man, I've been through those valleys, like where you guys just grow apart. You're busy, you're tired, you don't feel good about yourself, whatever it is. And that goes to either partner is not on board at any given moment. And you go through this like drought and and when your sex life in your marriage is missing and lacking, your marriage is missing and lacking. Your relationship is scary. And people start looking outside of those things. They start going, oh, well, maybe, whatever. Now, thank Christ, Lady Rackets and I have never had to deal with infidelity. We've never had to deal with that shit. But man, we have dealt with droughts. We have dealt with lack of communication. We've dealt with silent frustrations between each other. Of course, that's part and parcel to the amount of time you're committing. And so the reason I talk about it is because I know there are people out there going through those times that we have suffered through and suffering. And you know what I want to do? Like, I know Drex is an accelerationist. I know other people are like, oh, don't do marriage or whatever. I want people who did get married or people who are in a long-term committed monogamous relationship, even if they don't marry. I want them to know that like what they're going through happens and like there are ways around it. And when you go, well, when someone in the relationship goes, well, I'm kind of bored. Guess what? There's a fuck shitload of options to do crazy, interesting things while preserving monogamy in your marriage. There's a shitload of options to have a bunch of fun that maybe like you have been programmed to think, oh, well, that's like a little bit weird or deviant. Buying a sex toy. Oh my gosh. Like, what would my mom think? Who cares? Your mom has one. Stop it. Like that's why I've been talking about it lately. Like you start to meet people and realize that they are at the same place you were at a different time in your life. And you go, if I just talk about this a little bit, I bet they'll hear it. And maybe they'll listen. And they'll shed some weird inhibition that was put on them by someone else that's interfering with their monogamous marriage. Fucking fly. And I hate that. I hate that we can't talk about something without people assuming it's something crazy, deviant, and degenerate. Oh, well, he's talking about sex. Clearly, he's fucking every other thing that walks. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, who has time for this? Who has time for another woman in their life? Oh, my God. Like, mine takes all of it. She's a thief. Like, why would I want to try and find someone else to take even more? But God damn it, guys. Like, Stop with this shit. Stop with this perception that you can't have fun with the person you chose to spend the rest of your life with. You should have the most fun with them ever. It should be hilarious and sweaty and oily or whatever you want to do. Go do it. That's why I'm talking about it lately. Because I meet people constantly who are stuck. It's like, look, I've been there. I've been stuck. We've had 5 kids. There are times, by the way, in our marriage where Lady Rackets has felt very unattractive. Like when, right after the birth of a child, your body's all distended and broken from this thing that's been growing inside of you. There have been times in our marriage where, by the way, I've felt very unattractive, where I've hadn't had time to work out or been really stressed or busy, or I've eaten a lot and gained a bunch of weight. Of course you go through these things. Like you feel weird about yourself, but stop. Go find each other at every chance you get. And it's so fucking funny seeing the people pissed off that you talk about this stuff and they're like, wow, you know what that means? It's like, okay, cool. Like you can have your theories all day. I don't care. They don't harm me. I hope you come up with better ones that I can jerk off to or whatever. But no, that's why I'm talking about this. So we've been broken and conditioned into this idea largely by our church's refusal to address sexuality. And they have good reasons for not doing so, right? Like kind of weird. You got kids in the pews and stuff. It's fucking strange. I get it. But largely by our churches, conservatives have been afraid to address sexuality in any way other than, oh yes, I've had sex with my wife in missionary position only for the purposes of procreation. That's going to get old. Go have fun. Find out what they like. Because guess what? Their tastes are going to change dramatically over the course of a long relationship. They're going to want to try some different stuff and have fun with it. Be communicative. Set your boundaries. Know what they are. Hey, just me. That's a good boundary, by the way. Just me is a great one. Another boundary, I don't want to get pegged. I don't want to get pegged at all. That's fucking weird. And guess what? She agrees with you. She agrees with you. She chose you. She agrees with you. All of this other stuff is a shit test. Everything else, where she's like, oh, will you do this? No, of course you won't. She wants you to say no. Fucking hell. And people can't take that. I don't know if it's because they're not in relationships or whatever. They just haven't, maybe they are and they haven't gone through it, but man, I'm not out here. I'm not out here for the newbies you're in honeymoon phase. You're fucking every 2 seconds and you're having a great time. I'm not here for you. You don't need my help, but I'm here for the people who are 10 years in, 12 years in. It's like, oh, my spouse looks at me. They don't even seem turned on. They rather watch TV or whatever. Yeah, I get it. I'm with you. I'm here. I'm here to tell you that is temporary, but that temporariness relies on you. Relies on you. and it's probably them, in all honesty. It's probably them being more disaffected with themselves than with you. Or they're disaffected with the relationship in general and they can't get there. Or they literally, and here's my advice to most people who send me a message about this stuff. They say, hey, my husband is not interested, or hey, my wife is having trouble. We haven't had sex in a while. I say this, and this is the best advice I can possibly give you. Get a babysitter for the kids and go. Get the fuck out. Go. Travel far away. If you can't travel far away, travel close, but book multiple days. Don't look at your phone. Don't answer a text from the babysitter unless it's literally your kid's in the hospital. Get a hotel room, 3 days. Guys, 3 days. All right? Because women, particularly, but sometimes men too, need a day, an entire day to get out of their head. And that's not the day you check in, because you're not checking in until fucking 4 o'clock, right? you're going to need part of the next day too. They need to get out of their head. They need to get away from the home where they've been stuck, kids, schedules, whatever. And then you get them away and they remember who you are. Go to a nice dinner, make a nice dinner. It doesn't matter. Buy fucking McDonald's and bring it back to the hotel room. Spend time together. 3 days minimum. That's the minimum that you need to do. And if you need to stay close to home for whatever reason, you're nervous or they're nervous, stay close to home, but don't be at home. And oftentimes that's what it takes. That's literally what it takes. And you'll find each other. You liked each other, you still do. But sometimes it gets caught up in the rest of life. And when you have not gone through that, when you have not experienced it, having someone tell you about it sometimes helps. That's all. Like I'm not trying to be fucking weird here, but I am a little bit. And it's so funny that people want to take it in the other direction. And again, to be clear, I don't care. Have all your theories you want. It's great. Yes, I'm fucking the masseuse. There you go. To Kiwi Farms. That masseuse that you love to talk about, that we have no idea where he is or whatever. I'm actually ass fucking that guy. That's the next theory to go with. So cheers to you. It's amazing. Whatever is funny is fantastic. I love it.